It's been quite a while. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing amazing. It's Mr. Lobach back again. I know it's been a very long time. It's been a few months or even a year now. It's been kind of crazy. Sorry I haven't posted anything. I've posted maybe a couple shorts online, but I'm hoping to come back this summer and in the next school year in a bigger way. So if you want to subscribe to see more, please do so. And if you have any comments of what you'd like to see, please let me know. I'm going to explain to you where I've been in this video and also where I've moved to. So let's start up. As you can see in the title of the video, I moved to Calgary. I am now a full-time teacher in Calgary. So this year I have a class coming up. It's going to be a grade 2 French immersion class. I'm going to be teaching for the entire year from August 28th all the way to the end of June. And yes, the school year does start August 28th this year, but we will talk about why that is. So first up, let me explain. We moved, myself and my partner, in January of 2023. So this year, for this video, we moved to Calgary for a couple reasons. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the reasons first of why we moved that are excluded from education. And then I'm going to talk about some of the reasons for education as well. And then I'm just going to wrap up the video. That's it. So in January, me and my partner decided to move, but obviously the process began a little bit earlier. For those of you who are looking to make the transition from anywhere to move to Calgary, this is basically the process across the board. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go and obviously you're going to apply to the position that you would like in terms of education. You're going to go to the CBE website, the Calgary Board of Education. You're going to go and you're going to apply to become a teacher there. And what you'll need to do if you already have your teacher license, which we did, you will need to transfer your teacher license over. Transferring your teacher license is fairly simple. However, the process is lengthy. Because bureaucracy is as much as I can say for that. It took from the beginning of October, end of September, all the way up until, at least for me, early January to fully transfer everything over. That includes my certification and my work experience as well. And we'll talk about that because you need to transfer all of your work experience and it has to be transferred specifically from your previous employers. So if, like me, if you worked in another country or if you worked for multiple boards, you can't just have your employer that you just previously left say, hey, this person is 5 years worth of experience. You have to contact each and every one of your employers from previous work, which depending on where you worked might not be the easiest thing if they're not around anymore. After that process and after transferring everything over and paying all the fees and all this stuff, you're in Calgary. Boom, amazing. So the reason why we decided and we picked Calgary, there were two big reasons. First being the personal reasons and then the education reasons. So the personal reasons was Toronto and the GTA is super expensive, extremely expensive. And if you live in Toronto, you know how expensive it is. It's very similar if you're from BC. It's very similar prices. In fact, I think Vancouver is ranked slightly higher than Toronto for cost of living, and Toronto just second in all of Canada. It's so expensive. Per square foot, you're paying so much more than everywhere else, which was genuinely the problem. We wanted to live preferably somewhere downtown, like the metropolitan area, and when looking at prices for condos, which is what we were looking at because we didn't want a house, it was almost, a lot of the time, close to $1 million. If you're looking for something a little bit that's kind of nicer, if you're looking for something that's kind of like a shoebox, as I would like to say, then yeah, maybe you can find something for 600,000-700,000. But why pay 600,000-700,000 for something that you're not excited for at all, and something that's so tiny? Like, it is incredible how expensive things are. And granted, prices have been dropping these last few months due to high interest rates, but it's still not enough to justify for ourselves to save up and spend that kind of money if we're not necessarily going to be happy with our location, happy with our actual place. So that's part of the reason why we moved to Calgary. And the bigger picture is cost of living overall. Oh, right now we're living downtown Calgary and we're paying very reasonable prices. I would say we're probably paying on the higher end because we're living in a brand new condo. It's about a year and a half old. No one's lived in our unit yet. It is for rent specifically, so every single condo style unit in there is for rent. We're paying a little bit higher price, but we're paying significantly less than we paid in Toronto for more amenities, for parking, for a nicer place, for a larger place, and for a better location. And we're still paying significantly less. We're paying about $600 less a month, which is big savings when you're trying to save up for a place of your own. So that was one of the main reasons we decided to leave. The other reason we decided to leave was for the education and the salary. The education portion, we love to travel, we love to see the world. And what's really nice is, in fact, this year it's really nice. It's part of the reason why we're starting a little bit earlier, but they're actually breaking up the school year a little bit more. They've decided to change the school year where November, we're getting a smaller break. I think it's about 4 to 5 days, sometime in the middle of November, to start just a little bit earlier. Granted, these August start day, for us it's the 28th. It's 3 days of PA days. So the 28th, 29th, and the 30th, it's a PA day. It's just for teachers to come in and set everything up, which honestly, if you're a teacher, you're going to do that anyway. So why not get paid for it? And then school starts on the 31st for students, which granted is a few days earlier, but you do get to break up that year. If you're a teacher, you know how annoying and how horrible it is to get your Thanksgiving break, that like couple day break, and then drag along until you get to Christmas and New Year's and the winter holidays. And then afterwards, you're dragging along until March break, and then you're dragging along until summer break. All of these long periods of time where you cannot essentially take a vacation. A lot of people say like, oh, teachers, you have it so lucky, you're off for 2 full months. Yeah, that's amazing. But I have no opportunities to take a break in between. You can't. You can't take long periods of time off. It's very rare that that's approved. It's mostly for people who might be struggling with something that gets approved, but not just for leisure. So that's why I really like the UK system, because they had breaks every few weeks built in, a week here, 2 weeks there. Yes, their summer was significantly shorter, but do you really need a 2-month-long summer? Yeah, it's really nice if you want to take a really long vacation. And as you can see, I'm back in Toronto. I'm visiting my family, I'm visiting my friends. So yeah, it's nice to be able to do that, but it's also nice to be able to, every few weeks, kind of take a mental break and reset. It's a very strenuous job to be a teacher, to take care of 20 plus students every single day. You're not dealing with adults who are taking care of themselves, and you're not communicating with someone who is able to necessarily do things for themselves in the same way, especially when you're working with younger students, and it mentally drains you in a way that some people might not realize. I think people who have children would be best suited to understand how a teacher's day goes, especially for those who are just transitioning from being specifically at-home parents to their children moving into school, like kindergartners. Because some people don't come in necessarily fully potty trained. Some people aren't able to tie their shoes. Some people aren't able to put on their clothing. And on top of that, you have to teach them all these things: math, science, English, French in this case. So it's a lot of different things. So that's part of the reason why it's really nice to have at least just a little bit of a break. Coming back to what I was talking about, we were offered specifically fit contracts in Calgary. Now, fit contracts are actually really cool because normally, and it probably works very similarly across different states and different countries in Europe and South America and Africa and all across the world, you generally have three types of contracts. You have a supply contract for a teacher, someone who works day to day in different schools potentially. You have a longer term contracts, which is someone who's not necessarily permanent, but who works in a more stable single classroom position or single school position to cover for someone who might be on, let's say, a maternity leave or someone who is sick. And then you have your permanent teachers. Those are the three general kinds of contracts. Calgary has a fourth kind of contract called the fit contract. Fit contracts are essentially, I need people who have a particular set of skills. Those people will be hired on initially as supplies. However, they will be then shifted into a more long-term style contract as the year goes on and where they see if they need people. So for instance, for myself, I was supplying from January into April, and then in April, after March break ended, we went and they changed my contract to a long-term contract for a junior high school. And I worked in that junior high school until the end of June. Now, that sounds benign. The difference doesn't really sound like anything special. However, there is a very important distinction, my friends. Are you listening? You get paid full salary grid while you're supplying. So from January to April, I was getting paid full salary for my supply work. As long as I was supplying every single day, I was able to make full grid salary. There's no special kind of, oh, you need to work 10 days in a contract for it to become on salary, or even in Calgary, it's more than 2 days in a row. No, this is just straight up, as long as you're working, doesn't matter what school you're going into, as long as you're covering those jobs, you are making salaried grid position. It's a really great contract. It isn't necessarily offered to everyone. It's offered for people who are who have a certain specific specialty for education. I'll give you an example, like myself, for French. As a French teacher, I am able to teach French immersion, French as a second language, and extended French, whatever kind of French. Because of that, because of the demand for French teachers, I am able to receive that contract. There are a couple other positions that do get those kinds of contracts. You could find that kind of information on the CBE's website and by contacting the CBE directly. However, even if you don't receive that kind of a contract, you're still making supply pay, which isn't the worst in the world, especially for a place that has lower cost of living. So that was really one of the driving factors to bring us into Calgary. And that I just wanted to give an update as to where we were, why we left. And I mean, the other great reason is you're in Calgary, you can see the mountains from where we're living. We're downtown Calgary and I could see the Rockies covering just right in the distance. On my way to work in the morning, taking the subway line, I could see the mountains from my train car. It was so beautiful, and we've been going out and seeing the Rockies. We've been going to Canmore, we've been going to Banff, we've gone to Jasper, we've seen elk, we've seen deer, we've seen bear. It's been beautiful out there, and I highly recommend, if you're not working out there, that at least you take the opportunity to travel out there, because it is incredible. I hope that I can maybe do some kind of vlog style video, or it's like a hiking video or something, just to show off what you can see in Calgary and in all those other smaller towns that are just in the Rockies. It's so beautiful. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I mentioned in the beginning, if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments about me working in Calgary, if you want to know more about how to get a position working for the CBE, please let me know. Please contact me. I'll be more than happy to get you into contact with someone at the CBE who is able to answer more of your questions, and maybe I can answer them as well. I hope to see everyone again in the future, and have a great day. Cheers.